Okay, so I'm going to be doing a remake video of my Casablanca Delta II in Decorator Mauve. The first video didn't really have optimal lighting, and I wasn't exactly sure on what this fan's finish was, so for that reason I'm going to be doing another video where everything is abundantly clear, both figuratively and literally. So, out of all the finishes that Casablanca offered over the years, all of the brasses, coppers, pewters, whites, blacks, browns, pinks, reds, verdes, navajos, rusts, nickels, and what have yous, Decorator Mauve is quite possibly the rarest finish of them all. This finish was introduced in 1986 as a part of Casablanca's Designer series, along with Snow White, Glossy Black, Designer Grey, and Ferrari Red. As at this point in time, 1986, there were 9 finishes, and a handful of them had been discontinued, so they rolled out some new ones to keep things fresh. However, a year later, in 1987, they introduced 2 more finishes, Moroccan Sand and Dusty Rose, and along with that, Decorator Mauve got discontinued. So this finish was only available for 1 year, and in that 1 year, it really did not sell well at all. To this day, at least as far as my knowledge goes, not a single one of these has ever popped up in the wild. The only ones to ever surface have come in either new old stock form or floor model form from lighting showrooms. This one included, as I got this one, you've probably heard the story a bajillion times from me now, I got this one from a lighting showroom that was undergoing its retirement sale, found it in the back room. So, Decorator Mauve, it might not be the rarest finish Casablanca has, but if it's not the rarest, it's definitely in the top 5. Other ones that probably come close to it would be finishes like Peach Navajo, Mauve Blush, which is basically just this finish, but slightly darker. The only model I'm aware that ever offered that finish was the Malibu Star, though there probably are others. There's also the Mauve and Aquamist Saturn, which is like this with a mixed finish, the Watermelon Saturn. Though I've seen more of those than I've seen of these. And just other finishes like that. But as far as the Delta II is concerned, this is like the far end of extreme rarity. Because, you see Delta IIs all the time. They are like weeds all across the United States. Snow White, Antique White, Brass, they pop up all the time. Going to finishes like Verde or Glossy Black or Designer Grey, you see those not too terribly often, but you still see them. Then finishes like Moroccan Sand or Ferrari Red, it's very occasional, but they do still pop up. Even Dusty Rose just pales in comparison to this finish. And I do have the hang true. Just a quick side note. That would be right here. So, this fan, of course, is from 1986, only year it can be from, and that does mean it is 4-blade only. As you can see, there are some split lines in the paint along the blade. And it does, unfortunately, have an Asterson motor in it. But thankfully, due to the fan's lack of usage, it is still in pretty good shape. What this finish is, from a color standpoint, is pretty much the closest you'd ever get, possibly with the exception of Mauve Blush, to Casablanca having a purple finish. It's basically if you took Designer Grey and Dusty Rose and mixed them together. And that's pretty much what you have here. A grayish, pinky purple-like color. Okay, and with all that out of the way, we'll go ahead and ignite power, starting with low. Performance is par for the course for any Delta II. Of course, this fan's main novelty is its finish, but once you look past that, it's just your run-of-the-mill mid-80s Delta II with a third-party motor. Also, the flywheel is a little bit warped on this fan, and the blades are not very well balanced either. I could try putting a balancing kit on here at some point, because I am definitely not trying to calibrate any of those brackets by hand, because if one of them breaks, I am 1000% SOL. Click it up to medium. So in terms of this finish as a whole, or just straight mauve, as some might call it, the only two models I know that had this were the Delta II and the Lady Delta. I don't count the Mauve and Aquamist Saturns because that's a mixed finish, and of course Mauve Blush is a slightly different finish, so that is possibly another reason these are so rare, is because they were offered on very few models. I don't believe designer finishes were offered on the Panama until '87, when this finish would have already been discontinued. And we'll take it up to high. And you do get a bit of a wobble. When I put this fan up, I was honestly expecting it to be worse, but kind of lucked out. May have also had something to do with the order that I put the blades on the flywheel. Forgot for a second I was handling a Casablanca. Anyways, There you go, a Casablanca Delta II in Decorator Mauve.